Mamba out.
Saucy, yeah, bitch, I do this often. My bitch is bad, she always in office. Don't got a tags on running my body. Can't see the pads, I'm living too fast. With 20 my dash, I'm up, but I lost him. He wanna brag, I did his bag and took what he had. Don't care what it cost him. Then he broke, he turned to a hoe. It seems before the shit get exhausted. Ran on a hoe, I wanna be known. The stage of my soul, you're Randy Moss.
Yo, what is up, everybody? Welcome to Sports Time. There's Aiden. I am Darius Times, and that is Aiden Munson. Thank you for listening to Sports Time. There's Aiden. If you haven't already, make sure to like this video, make sure to comment down below, and also make sure that hit that bell for post notifications for every video. And from channel Aiden, today we're doing our second official mock draft, Aiden. As the draft is just days away, we are preparing for a lot of stars to make huge impacts of some of these, trash teams in the league. And Aiden, you have the honor of choosing the #1 overall pick representing the Jacksonville Jaguars, and we all know who you are going to pick. So, Commissioner Munson, take it away.
I technically wouldn't be the commissioner, I'd be the GM. But okay, let's get this going. The technicalities. I will be taking the presumptuous #1 overall pick since the beginning of his life. It seems like Trevor Lawrence out of Clemson University. Quarterback.
Yeah, great pick. Yeah, that was pretty. Yeah, that was
also
pretty nice.
Jacksonville's. Also, fun fact: this is Jacksonville's first ever #1 overall pick in a draft.
Wow, very surprising. And they get a stud in Trevor Lawrence. I have the honor of representing the New York Jets with the #2 overall pick, and I believe they're going to take Zach Wilson out of BYU. We all know going into this past college football season, most of us didn't know who Zach Wilson is, but throughout the course of BYU season, he had the ability to throw over 3,500 yards, 33 touchdowns, and only 3 interceptions. And the New York Jets are going to get an absolute stud in Zach Wilson, and he's going to be the cornerstone of that franchise for years to come. Zach Wilson, BYU quarterback, going to the New York Jets, and it's going to be the first QB under newly hired head coach Robert Saleh in the New York Jets.
All right, so this pick should seem like a easy one for most, but for the one and only Kyle Shanahan, it seems to be so very hard and so very frustrating. It's so frustrating that he can't differentiate a game manager and underdeveloped talent and the man that is Justin Fields. I am astonished of the disrespect he has shown Mr. Justin Fields. And I'm going to pick Justin Fields as the #3 overall pick, not only to smite the one and only Kyle Shanahan, but to show him how the fans really feel and what the fans really think and what we really want to see happen for the San Francisco 49ers. You are a historical franchise, yet you have struggled getting to the Super Bowl, yes, never winning one, though. Take Justin Fields. I'm telling you. There's go.
Aiden, of course, that was pretty obvious. If you haven't watched that San Francisco 49ers episode that we dropped just yesterday, make sure to go watch that before you watch the rest of this video. Very exciting video. Make sure to go check that out. And Aiden, with the 4th overall pick, I'm representing the Atlanta Falcons. Of course, we all know the Atlanta Falcons are listening to trade talks about Julio Jones, and I do think they're going to bring in a revolutionary player, a rare player, a unicorn of this draft. I compare him, the athleticism, the size. He even has the number 84. We all know who wears number 84, the one and only Randy Moss, Hall of Famer. So I'm going to take out of Florida the one, the only, the 6'6", 246 monster, Kyle Pitts, out of Philadelphia, PA. We all know when he dominated this past season as a junior, representing the Florida Gators, as Kyle Trash as his quarterback. He had 43 receptions, requiring over 770 yards, 12 touchdowns, and on every catch, he gained around 17.9 yards per game. So that's very, very good, especially receiving balls from a very, very, very trash quarterback. So I'm taking Kyle Pitts of the Florida Gators to be the new star of the Atlanta Falcons, whether or not Julio Jones is going to be traded or not with the Atlanta Falcons rebuilding. Kyle Pitts, number 4 overall pick to the Atlanta Falcons.
Again, another easy pick here at number 5. You made the investment. Now you protect it. Going with Penei Sewell, offensive tackle at the University of Oregon, to protect Joe Burrow's blind side and to prevent any further damage to that knee. Moving on. Very simple pick for me.
Yeah, very, very, very obvious. We know Penei Sewell and Rashawn Slater are literally the 2 best offensive linemen in the league. And with that being said, Aiden, I am representing with the number 6 overall pick, the Finessa, Brian Flores, and the Miami Dolphins. Of course, they fell short of the playoffs by just this much, and I think if you give Tua
reunite too.
No, it's not gonna. It's gonna be different, Aiden. I'm gonna give.
Oh my God, no!
Another
we had this discussion.
No, I believe he is the best wide receiver in this draft. Aiden, you can have
this discussion.
And Aiden, I know we both have very, very, very different opinions on this, but I do think the Miami Dolphins, even because they still have, don't forget, they still have Devontae Parker. They still have Mike Gesicki. I ain't going to give Tua Tagovailoa a nice physical, a tall, athletic weapon who is not a Heisman Trophy winner. I do believe Ja'Marr Chase and Devontae Smith are the 2 best wide receivers in this draft, but Ja'Marr Chase is, to me, the best wide receiver in this draft. I'm taking Ja'Marr Chase. We all know he sat out last season, but in 2019, let's not forget, he received 84 receptions, racking up over 1,500 yards, putting up 20 touchdowns in the season, and on every reception, he racked up over 21.2 yards per game. So even though I have a lot of respect for both Ja'Marr Chase, Devontae Smith, and Jalen Waddle, but as a wide receiver standpoint, from a wide receiver from that position mainly, I am taking Ja'Marr Chase over Devontae Smith and Jalen Waddle. And that's no disrespect to either of those guys, but in my opinion, I do believe Ja'Marr Chase is the best weapon and the best option for the Miami Dolphins going forward.
Well, thought we were going to see back-to-back wide receivers from the same team going these picks.
I mean, you're representing the Lions.
Unfortunately,
you represent the Lions. You know, they could draft a wide receiver. You know, they have your guy.
Yeah, I am drafting a wide receiver. And Jared Goff is not our guy anymore. It's Matt Stafford all the way. They just lost Kenny Golladay to that monster deal to New York, and obviously Jared Goff. And they also lost another key wide receiver, went to Jacksonville. His name escapes me right now.
Marvin Jones.
Thank you, Marvin Jones. They also lost their other main weapon, Marvin Jones. And the only guy they have left is Pro Bowl tight end TJ Hawkinson, who was the highest drafted tight end in history. Just by the way, the Bears actually hit on one of these picks. They actually hit on one of these picks. That's a surprise. But can't throw the tight ends all the time. We're assuming your running back going forward is DeAndre Swift. So we are going to be taking and giving you another explosive weapon. Now, don't get me wrong. Devontae Smith is amazing. But let me explain something to you. At the beginning of the season, and I don't think most of the casuals know this, unless you're an Alabama fan. But at the beginning of the season, the position that Devontae Smith played and won the Heisman was Jalen Waddle's. Devontae Smith was Jalen Waddle's backup to begin the season. His backup. Until Jalen Waddle got hurt, Devontae Smith was his backup. The Heisman Trophy winner was the backup to said Jalen Waddle. So when me and other experts try to say, well, expert's a strong word. When me and other analysts try to say and speak our piece on Jalen Waddle, we're not coming from a place of ignorance. We're coming from a place of knowledge, a place of knowing, a place of respect for the game, a place of knowing who and what they were. I'm going to give you another example. At the beginning of the other season, when they had that unbeatable wide receiver core of Ruggs, Jeudy, Devontae, and Waddle, guess who was the number 2 option? The number 1 option was Jerry Jeudy. The number 2 option was Jalen Waddle. The number 3 option was Devontae Smith. The number 4 option was Henry Ruggs. Jalen Waddle is the real deal. He's the most explosive, maybe even the most athletic playmaker. I don't know. After we saw Rondale Moore run that 4.29, he has an argument as well. But ladies and gentlemen, Jalen Waddle is my pick going to the Detroit Lions, giving Jared Goff somebody to throw to.
Well, and that's very surprising, especially I know you're love for Devontae Smith, especially with the Heisman Trophy winner. So this makes this pick even easier for the Carolina Panthers as I'm representing them with the number 8 overall pick. Aiden, very surprising. I did not expect to take Jalen Waddle over Devontae Smith, but I'm looking at Carolina here. You bring in Sam Darnold via trade from the Jets, all right? But don't forget you still have Teddy Bridgewater on your team. Yeah, you still have him on the roster, and he's still getting paid no matter the situation. So the Carolina Panthers, Matt Rule, head coach of the Panthers, does have to decide between those two. But I'm taking Devontae Smith without a doubt. Look at this wide receiver.
Hold up.
Devontae Smith.
You're taking Devontae Smith when the Carolina Panthers already have DJ Moore and Robbie Anderson, along with Christian McCaffrey.
Yes,
that is the
yes.
dumbest. That's Jerry Jones taking CD Lamb dumb. That's taking the best wide receiver when you already have the best wide receiver core when you already have one of the best wide receiver cores in the league. Dumb. All you did was lose Curtis Samuel. You don't need to take Devontae Smith.
No, look, Aiden. Let me explain. Let me get through let me show you my thinking process here. All right. Sit back, enjoy the show. All right, get your popcorn. Now let's look at the NFC. Let's take a look at the NFC South real quick. Let's look at the competition they have. All right, Atlanta. I have them taking Kyle Pitts. All right, you have the defending champion Tampa Bay Buccaneers. You have the New Orleans Saints, even without Drew Brees, is still a threat. Of course, Taysom Hill got that huge deal. Don't forget to stop James Winston. Of course, basically the same team. Michael Slant Thomas, right? We all know Alvin Kamara, Cam Jordan. Shout out to them boys over there. So the NFC South is pretty competitive. Add the Heisman Trophy winner to the Carolina Panthers. Of course, defensively, they may need to improve in free agency. We did a couple episodes about that. But look, I'm looking at the Carolina Panthers to have all the assets they need to possibly trade up, trade down. They can get some more weapons via trade. Carolina Panthers is definitely a destination, especially with the questions surrounding the question.
Oh, okay, I get it. So you're saying you're taking the best player available because you believe Carolina will be trading down. Okay, that makes sense now.
I'm taking the best player available.
I was a little concerned for a minute. My fault. I was a little concerned for a minute. Okay, I was a little concerned for a minute.
So I'm taking Devontae Smith, Heisman Trophy winner. Honestly, arguably the best wide receiver trio in the league. Look, DJ Moore, Kenny Anderson, Devontae Smith, Christian McCaffrey in the backfield. No matter who's quarterback is, that's going to be a fun showtime. Probably not. You probably not even stopping any of those guys, bro. I got the Carolina Panthers taking Devontae Smith. I'm very happy about this. Devontae Smith, Heisman Trophy winner. It's going to headline. It's going to be the future of the Carolina Panthers.
All right. Well, Denver. I'm at a crossroads here. I'm at a very much so crossroads here. Okay. I might have jumped the gun on Caleb Farley a little. Don't get me wrong. I still think he's a first round grade. I still think he's an amazing top tier corner in this draft. But don't like they say, don't count your chickens before they hatch. I've been looking into it. There's another guy that I forgot to mention on that top corner list that I like. Goes by the name of J.C. Horn, son of NFL legend. He is one of the top corners in this draft. Obviously, you have Patrick Surtain, son of an NFL player. Not NFL legend. Sorry, Patrick. Sorry, Patrick Surtain Sr., not an NFL legend. Then you have Asante Samuel Jr., son of an NFL player. Again, very star-studded. Now, what I've been looking at and what I've been seeing, they still have Caleb Farley ranked high, but because of the injury, he's going to slip. So I'm not taking Caleb Farley here. I can't take Caleb Farley here. He's gonna slip down in my draft. He's still gonna be drafted first round. He's gonna slip down in my draft though because of the injury, and he didn't perform at his pro day, so I'm not taking him here. Patrick Surtain, Jaycee Horn. That's who I'm between right now. Patrick Surtain and Jaycee Horn. Patrick Surtain locked down some of the best in the SEC. So did Jaycee Horn. We have many people stating that Jaycee Horn was their hardest cover. Right? We have Armani Rogers, who I didn't know Amari Rogers was the son of T. Martin, saying he was his hardest cover. We have guys like by the name of Kadarius Toney saying he was one of their hardest covers. We got guys like Terrence Marshall Jr. saying he was one of their hardest covers. I tend to fall into the hype a little bit. I liked him. Don't get me wrong. I liked him as far as he's a man-on-man type guy. And the Denver Broncos here, they lost Chris Harris Jr. And I'm sorry, but I can't always fall to what I think is the best. I think they're going to take Patrick Surtain the second here, and he will be going off the board, and he will be going to Denver. Sorry. That's how the chips fell. If Caleb Farley would have performed his pro day and did well, he would be the pick right here, no hesitation, no doubt. But unfortunately, with all the injury concerns, and then Jaycee Horn skyrockets his draft value. I like him a lot. Don't get me wrong, but I like Patrick Surtain. Patrick Surtain is my pick at number 9.
Very interesting, Aiden. And that leads me to taking, since you took Patrick Surtain representing my Cowboys America's team, I'm taking Jaycee Horn, as you mentioned, of course, with the Caleb Farley injury, that pretty much kind of put a damper on his projection to being possibly a top 10 pick in this draft. But I'm looking at Jaycee Horn here. Either way, I would be happy with either Patrick Surtain or Jaycee Horn. Either way, the Cowboys need a defense. We all know how bad they were against the run. Last season, arguably the worst defense we've seen in NFL history. But I'm looking at Jaycee Horn here, 6'1", 205. You're in position, take either Jaycee Horn or Caleb Farley, because those are arguably the two top cornerbacks left on the board here.
Also, this might be the first time in NFL history where 2 back-to-back sons of NFL players, NFL Pro Bowlers at that, have been taken with back-to-back picks.
So, a defensive backfield is what the Cowboys need, especially with losing Byron Jones via free agency last season. So Jaycee Horn is a huge upgrade for the Cowboys. You all know they need a defense, especially with the retirement of Sean Lee. Of course, in the backfield, we need a lot of improvements there. So Jaycee Horn will be the perfect place to go. We need a lot of youth on this team. I do think my Cowboys will take Jaycee Horn, especially with Patrick Surtain is off the board. And Aiden, I'm going to give it to you. You're representing the New York Giants with number 11 overall pick.
You know what, Max Kellerman said a very important thing on the show, on ESPN's for sake, where he was like, I've been waiting 10 years for the Giants to finally rebuild their offensive line. And usually what I would have done here was to take a weapon, but you paid big bucks for Kenny Golladay. So you're presuming that you have your weapon. And you're also assuming that this is Daniel Jones's prove it year. And with that being said, we all know how Saquon tore his ACL. It was non-contact, right? But he was doing what Barry used to do. Because Barry didn't have a good offensive line either, so he had to take it. So he had to keep moving around and shaking and begging. And what happens there is that when you're taking all those awkward angles, there's always a risk that you're going to move the wrong direction, twist the wrong way. Doc J is coming back here. That was a non-contact ACL tear, and he was at the worst of angles for it to be a non-contact ACL tear. He was obviously trying to avoid a tackler, shifting around a horrible offensive line. So I'm giving him some offensive line help at this pick we are going Rashawn Slater out of Northwestern again, taking the best offensive lineman left off the board, going to the New York Jets.
Very good pick, and this leads me to number 12 overall pick, the Philadelphia Eagles. And number 12, of course, this pick is from Miami via San Francisco. We all know the big trades that happened a couple of weeks ago with the Eagles, the Dolphins, and the 49ers. But with the Eagles, we all know one thing they need. It's not a quarterback because I believe in Jalen Hurts, but they need weapons. All right, they need weapons. You can't have JJ Arcega-Whiteside as your number one option on the offensive side of the ball. You need a wide receiver, and I'm taking the best wide receiver available left on the board, which happens to be by the name of Jalen. Left by the name. I'm taking Rondale Moore. I do believe this decision was between Rondale Moore and Rashad Bateman, but I do believe to fit the Eagles system, especially with I presume Jalen Hurts to be their starting quarterback. It could either be him or Joe Flacco. That's no discussion for the time. But I'm looking at him. I think Rondale Moore would be the solid option. 5'9", 180, of course, from Purdue. I do think the Eagles need another option, especially that offense. Who else do you have? Zach Ertz is expected not to return to the Eagles next season. Deshaun Jackson departed for the Rams. Who else do you have? Absolutely nobody. The Eagles are a dumpster fire right now, and I do think Rondale Moore could possibly be the start of the rebuilding process for the Philadelphia Eagles, and the fans truly need a weapon for Jalen Hurts because they do not want to let that pick last year go to waste.
All right, I was struggling with this pick here. I was thinking take the best player available in Mike Parsons for the Chargers. Then I was saying, well, you got a contract situation here where we don't know if you're going to re-sign Melvin Ingram. We don't know if you're going to keep him on the team. So I was thinking you could just save a bunch of money and take Kwity Paye. But I'm not sold on Kwity Paye as much as others are. Yes, Kwity Paye is a phenomenal player. I think this is a slightly weaker edge class where I'm not fully sold on most of the prospects here. Again, I like Gregory Rousseau. I love Gregory Rousseau. He fell drastically though. Him not playing this year, like some of the opt-outs helped. Like the Jamar Chase opt-out, that helped him a lot, right? The Rondale Moore opt-out helped him. Some of these opt-outs really helped, but some of them did not. I'm going to take Micah Parsons here at number 13, best player available. I think that you're not necessarily elite at that linebacker core yet, and I think that you can find some money somewhere to pay Melvin Ingram. You still got a couple more years left to Justin Herbert on the cheap money. You don't have to pay Melvin Ingram yet, and even when it is time to give Justin Herbert the real money, real QB money, you can trade Melvin. So I'm going to take Micah Parsons here at number 13 and I probably just took Darius Guy to the Chargers.
Okay, now Aiden, I'm representing the Vikings, and I'm really, I had
took you a while there.
I had a deep thought process here because I know two quarterbacks left on the board happen to be Trey Lance and Mac Jones, and we're approaching a couple of teams, especially New England and Chicago, who have been in the mix to get a quarterback.
Before you say something about them taking a quarterback here, let me remind you that Kirk Cousins is the ninth highest paid athlete in the entire world.
I know this, Aiden. Watch. Look where I'm going here. So I expect a trade between the picks between the Chicago Bears and the Minnesota Vikings. So that moves the Chicago Bears up to pick number 14. They're gonna take Trey Lance. I think I got them taking Trey Lance. Now let me explain here. Matt Nagy, Ryan Pace, they're in the hot seat. All right. Mr. Trubisky was picked over Deshaun Watson and Patrick Mahomes. All right. Now that defense It is a Super Bowl contending defense. It's been a Super Bowl contending defense for years. You have Allen Robinson on the franchise tag. Don't forget, you have David Montgomery in the backfield, whereas Tariq Coleman is coming back from injury. If you put Trey Lance in that offense, I'm not saying he needs to start right now because I do understand that I have Andy Dalton and Nick Foles, but put Trey Lance in there. Get a couple experience, get a couple reps in. I do think Trey Lance could be the future for the Chicago Bears. No matter if they're a good team, no matter if they're a playoff team or just in the rebuilding process, I do think Trey Lance could be that guy, especially with Ryan Pace and Matt Nagy on the hot seat. So I expect a trade between Chicago, Minnesota. Chicago moves up to number 14, takes Trey Lance.
All right. Just for clarification, what is Minnesota's draft pick now? What pick are they picking at?
They are number 20.
Number 20. Great. Well, as I said, I picked your guy. You picked my guy. I was going to take Trey Lance at number 15 and take him to Patriots. I know he could learn from a quarterback like Cam Newton of a similar style of him. I felt like he would have learned a lot. I felt like he would have worked well. I felt like he would be a good fit for the New England Patriots here. But unfortunately, the trade up happens and Trey Lance is gone. So Bill Belichick clearly wasn't impressed by Mac Jones. It's too high to take Davis Mills or Kellen Mond. So I'm going to have to look to some other needs here. Jesus Christ. I know what I'm going to have to do here. I'm going to have to go O-line because they just lost one of their best guards on the team. Yeah, I'm going to have to go O-line here, man, because you took – Jesus. I mean, this is a weak safety class. The corners and the top corners, excluding Farley, are off the board, and I don't think he wants Farley. I would have gone D-line, get him some, because he's got all the weapons he needs. I wouldn't have him draft a weapon here. He doesn't need Bateman. And it's too high to draft Najee or Etienne. Way too high to draft Najee or Etienne. So yeah, I'm gonna have to go O-line here. I am taking not Christian Darvish, but Alavera Tucker because he is an interior offensive lineman. He is, in effect, one of the best, if not the best, interior offensive lineman in this draft. I'm taking Alavera Tucker. I like Wyatt Davis, but again, slipped a little after the pro days and things like that. Taking Alavera Tucker here. Number 15, best player available, fixing a position of need, checks all the boxes, and yeah. I fully expect to trade down here, but I couldn't find a viable trade partner for them to trade down with that would have what they need. And since you could just wait till the second round and take who you need and trade up in second, I think this will be perfectly fine for them. I think they can just wait till they get there. I think they can just wait till they see a quarterback they'd like to take. So I'm going to go offensive line here since you lost your best offensive lineman on your team, literally.
All right, so okay, I'm picking for the Arizona Cardinals here, which is I'm trying to look at what they need, all right? If from draft experts like Mel Kiper Jr. Mel Kiper Jr. and the other draft experts, that's what they call themselves. The Arizona Cardinals here. Defensively, you bring in J.J. Watt. And one of the best linebacker left. Well, the best linebacker literally in the draft is Michael Parsons out of Penn State, who's definitely falling off the board just to notify you, Aiden, of that. But I'm thinking of the Cardinals here. Cardinals, it's either, honestly, if it was me, I'm either taking an offensive lineman or a linebacker.
Let me give you some advice here. You just lost Pat Pete. My guy is slipping far.
Oh, that's right. You just lost Pat Pete. Yep. Defensively, you have Jalen Jones, J.J. Watt.
Secondary in the league. You got Byron Murphy, Budda Baker, and the boy Justin Simmons.
Right, Justin Simmons. I know. So, Aiden, with that advice you just gave me, I know Caleb Farley's dealing with injuries, but I do think the Cardinals want to pretty much toughen up that defense, especially competing in my mind the toughest division in all of football, where you're playing literally the Rams, Seahawks, and the 49ers 6 games out of your 17. I'm taking Caleb Farley, most definitely. Best cornerback available, and that leaves me with my other picks going down the line for the rest of this draft. It gives me a lot of opportunity to draft a lot of people who are slipping far who I did not expect them to.
All right. Well, that concludes the first part of the draft. Again, we only decided to record half of it today. We will do the other half tomorrow. This has been Sports Now with Darius and Aiden on our mock draft. I am Aiden Munson. That is Darius Adams, and we will see you on the next episode. Peace.
Peace.